In this video, we're having a Mandoverse move around. I'll be opening figures and playsets, getting my Mandoverse in some sort of chronological order across my shelves, and there's a surprise package along the way. Stay tuned. So currently, as it stands, these are my Mando shelves. Mandalorian, I think it kind of blends from Rogue One into Andor, and I know these are separate sort of eras of Star Wars, but they share some of the same troopers. So yeah, starting probably from this shelf, I guess, for the Mandalorian sort of season 1, Navarro. We've got Moff Gideon there, and got some of those space walls. Was it the light cruiser hallway? So some astromechs from the original trilogy, mainly Scarif troopers. It kind of just all blends into one. My Empire sort of spread out a little bit. I kind of like having the Empire on like in one big section, but at the moment they're kind of a bit all over the place. So I've still got Dedra to go from Andor. I'm going to try and separate out the Mando part of the Empire though, because I need to try and get a couple of bits back in the collection. Well, one in particular that has just turned up. So this is the Armourer's Forge. I was a bit late in picking it up, but I saw it was sort of low stock on Hasbro Pulse, so I thought I'd pull the trigger before having that FOMO, missing out, regret. So Mando sort of blends into the Book of Boba Fett and Ahsoka. I've still got a few figures to pick up. I guess the Nighthawk, is it the Night or the Shriekhawk Mando 4-pack. I've got some various figures that have come with playsets or vehicles that I've just not opened, so I might try and overcome my my own sort of collecting anxiety and just open some of those pack-in figures. I'm sure there's another 4-pack out there that I've yet to pick up. And down on the bottom shelf, really, I just don't know where to put this AT-ST. I do like this AT-ST and the Raider, but there's nothing else from that episode that it really interacts with, apart from Cara Dune and Mando. But as far as the scene goes, I think I kind of just have them down here with a couple of my other walkers and TIE fighters. Yeah, it's not the best setup at the moment. I'm going to try and document this progress as I sort of move things about. I do like the Navarro Cantina sort of going along the whole length of a shelf. That's obviously 2 of the cantinas together there. I don't know if I'll do it with the space walls. I guess I probably could. I obviously need to pick up a second lot of space walls if I'm going to do that. I've got the detention block on the other side. Again, Vader's in there, so it's not really just a Mando setup at the moment. So I might try and take out some of these Rogue One figures from here. Maybe stick them up with some of my other Rogue One figures that are here with the U-Wing. But again, it's starting to get a bit crowded, and one of the things I don't want is overcrowding on these shelves. I do have the Razor Crest and the N1 Starfighter elsewhere. They're not going to fit on these shelves. I don't really want to. Again, I don't want to cram things in, but I do want to get this the Armourer's Forge, because I think that'll look really good as a sort of centerpiece. So maybe sort of in the middle of one of these shelves and have like the Mandalorians sort of all around it. Which means I need a different setup for the cantina. Maybe the cantina can double up as the sanctuary. It's not really the same. It's not the same planet for a start, but we've seen those the 4-pack of droids that's coming on May the 4th from Disney's Droid Factory range, where we're getting the drummer that goes with Max Rebo. That'd be really cool. Obviously, we've got Kasantan and a couple of like Boba Fett sort of. I don't know. It's difficult when you've got shelves like this width and you've got a handful of characters sort of from each episode or each series. It's difficult to sort of have them in a display that kind of works. And we know with the Ahsoka series, I've sought the E-Wing to come. I haven't pulled the trigger on that one. Got the pilot for that on pre-order. There's the Howler to come as well, and Shin, Hattie, and Balin's Skull still to come. I haven't picked up the Thrawn yet from that series. Actually, I tell a lie, I do. I've got a few figures to open. Bear with. So I'm a little bit behind on my unboxing. I just remembered that I have ordered some figures over the last few months and possibly going back a year. I mean, this one, R2 Sam, needs to go with my Jabba's Palace diorama. Got a retro collection Luke Skywalker. I think he was partly because he was the last retro figure I needed from that wave. He's not going on this in this setup. My retro figures will go elsewhere, apart from you can see a retro Sam person and one of the HK droids back there. There we go. There's Thrawn from the Ahsoka series, so he needs opening up. What else have we got? Mandalorian from the Imperial base, so another one to open up. We've got the Mandalorian Privateer. Luke Skywalker, so this was pick up from Echo Live. So again, yeah, he can go up here. So it's another Mando era figure. That's an Anakin from a previous video. Zeb from Rebels, he's not getting opened. He needs to go in a protective case, and I need to find somewhere I can put those Rebels figures on a wall. Okay, R2-D2 has just come off the wall in favour of a clean one. And who's the last one? Ah, there we go. Ahsoka from Peridia. So yeah, I knew there was some more figures I had to open to go on the sort of Ahsoka shelf. So certainly got, yeah, Ahsoka and Thrawn to stick on. And then there's some Mando figures down there. So yeah, there's a few still to go. I want to be able to get this tank back on the shelf, up where Rogue One and Andor is, but you can see, you know, this is these are good problems to have, obviously, as a collector, but they are the sort of issues we face because it's all about space. The shelves they're not, well, obviously you can adjust them on here, but they're quite narrow and not much height to them. So in terms of putting the forge up, might need to give it a bit more height. But yeah, so I'm going to sort of document this as I go. If I move things about, I'll just show you guys the progress. So while I was filming, the door went, the postman came and dropped off a letter. I've scribbled out the address. But yeah, it's a little package from one of the Facebook action figure groups. It's the Bunker of Endor, so thank you, Russell, for sending this out this week. Again, just filling in the gaps in the collection. Let's see what we've got here. Got 3 loose figures. I've got a deal on buying 3 together. Again, various films, shows, eras of Star Wars represented. Okay, let's start with the one that I was most keen to get is Saesee Tiin from the Genndy Clone Wars series. It's got a removable helmet, space gear. I saw on the Rebel Scum photo archives that they sort of reference that he should come with a cape. Like obviously the Hasbro figure doesn't come with a cape; he just comes as is. But there's a Count Dooku figure that has a cape that lends itself quite well. So let me just get that. So let's just see how well that looks. So this is Saesee Tiin. This is the Dooku figure that I'm going to take the cape from. So pop the head off. Again, this is an older Dooku, so we've got the vintage collection one now. So I guess this one isn't necessarily going to feature very prominently in my collection. So this will be the cape. Let's get Saesee Tiin's head off. Got a good feeling about this actually. Yeah, pretty much looks the part, doesn't it? I love the helmet, sort of very Mandalorian-esque, isn't it? Yeah, so that was one I needed. None of these are particularly hard to find figures. I just don't have them in my collection. So again, just filling in the gaps. And I am going to, once I've finished sorting out my Mando, Ahsoka, Book of Boba Fett shelves, I'll look at doing a Clone Wars, specifically Gendy Clone Wars shelf. So he'll feature on that. Cade Skywalker, I actually don't have either figure from this comic pack, but you've got Cade Skywalker with, it's not his weapon, but I knew that when buying it. It was a decent price. Again, it's just a different looking figure to anything that I've got in the collection. The comic packs were so sought after, I guess. Very common in the 30th anniversary and legacy collections, but we don't get them anymore. And yeah, so he was in a 2-pack with Darth Talon. Darth Talon appears on Facebook groups and eBay all the time. I think the thing that makes her a bit more pricey is the lightsaber, but to be honest, I've got so many lightsabers, I'm not too precious about the hilts on certain figures. So I'll pick up a Darth Talon at some point. But yeah, he'll go on just a generic shelf with Misfits for the moment. But I love the head sculpt. Really cool. Yeah. And the final one, again, because it's a 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith, I thought I would get a... again, try and start filling in some of the gaps. So this is one of the clone pilots. You don't actually see him in Revenge of the Sith. Not in the black uniform anyway. More sort of Imperial than anything else. He'd make a good V-wing pilot, I guess. But I need to get a V-wing first. But yeah, no, he'll go well. I think again, I can't remember if it was Rebel Scum or the action figure book that I've got, and I'm not going to go look right now, but kind of could act as a sort of shadow pilot for Utapau. So I've got a shadow clone trooper as well. So they'll just go together. They'll probably hang out in the background of my Utapau shelf. So yeah, thanks Russell from the Bunker of Endor, because 3 figures that I wasn't expecting to pick up at the start of the week, but they just appeared on a claim sale, and I thought they'll definitely do for my collection. So thanks very much, man. Well, I've started making progress. So we've got sort of the armourers, that's the Mandalorian layer here, the armour and a few Mandos. I've got the sort of Ahsoka sort of shelf ready to go. So I've got Thrawn and another Ahsoka to open. And we know that, we're getting Sabine and Howler, we're getting Shin and Baylan Skull. So yes, that's going to start filling out quite well. There are other Mandos to open here, and obviously you need the Shriek Hawks. Moving up, I'm still not happy with this, so I've taken half the Navarro Cantina out. But again, we've got Season 2 Grief Karga. We don't have Season 1 Grief Karga. Obviously the Mithril isn't part of this scene. IG-11 would be here, but I've got him on the speeder bike, and I think he just looks so much better on that. Book of Boba Fett is sort of limited to just a little display at the moment. And what am I missing from Book of Boba Fett? Answers on a postcard, because there's definitely 1 or 2 figures that aren't on show here. Oh yeah, the Luke Skywalker and Grogu deluxe set. I don't have it yet. I'm sort of waiting for the right time to pick one up. Slowly moving things about. I think I'm gonna I have bought the Light Cruiser hallway down. So that's Season 2 of Mando with Book of Boba Fett, because that's the next story. So again, Season 1 and 2 will be top 2 shelves. Sorry, Season 1 will be the top 2 shelves, I guess, maybe with a little spillage of Season 2, because we've still got this Artillery Trooper, the Mithril and Grief Karga. They're more prominent in Season 2. Well, this is at least a Season 2 outfit for Grief Karga. We've got the Mando and Mix Mayfield in disguise. So yeah, there's a lot of Season 2 figures, but not necessarily the set pieces to go with them. So I still need to figure out what's going where. So for the Light Cruiser hallway, I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with this setup, because I've really only got one of the Dark Troopers, I am going to open this Luke Skywalker figure right now. I won't do an unboxing, so the next thing you see will be him on the shelf. If you do want to see unboxings though, let me know. I'm quite happy to do them on the channel, but you know, if it's just easier to see them on the shelf once done, then I'll go with that. So the glue's not very good. This came right off the card back. Obviously there's a little bit of a peel there, but yeah, it was barely held together. Straight away, I didn't actually realise just how brown the cloak was. It actually probably shows up browner on camera as well. I do love the oversized hood that they did for Mando Season 2. Looks really cool, actually. I'm going to have to get some more of these Dark Troopers then, aren't I? Again, I just wasn't that impressed with the actual overall figure. It was quite a rubbery plastic, and obviously the deluxe one was overpriced. You can still get it. You can still get the single pack release. Okay, yeah. So Luke fighting the Dark Trooper. I mean, that's quite barren though on this part of the shelf. So probably not going to keep it like that. But I just wanted to sort of show off the two of them in combat. Really, really cool Luke figure. The this version of him does actually come with his Palace blaster, which is quite helpful because my Luke with Jabba's Palace, I'm actually missing. I've misplaced it temporarily. Don't look too closely because there are figures all over the place on this shelf. But yeah, so I'll be donating the Palace blaster to this Luke figure. So thank you very much, Mando Season 2 Luke. Well, I think I'm settled for now. It's not the prettiest. We've got Mando Season 1 from the opening scene where he meets Quill. We've got Grogu and Zuka. We've got IG-88 riding on into town, taking out Imperials. We've got Moff Gideon with his Dark Troopers rolling in on the Imperial troop transport. Coming to the end of Season 1, Mando pretty beaten up. Grogu about to use the Force on this Stormtrooper. Cara Dune is representing what's left of the Navarro Cantina. You know, we really need the client. We need Greef Karga in his Season 1 outfit. A couple of figures that, well, this Mandalorian is in flashback scenes, so I guess I'll try and move him into like a Clone Wars setup at some point. Then we've got some Season 2, like almost like a greatest hits, if you like. We've got Cobb Vanth, Ahsoka, Boba Fett at the back. We've got Greef Karga. We've got a couple of we've got Migs and Mando in disguise back there. Artillery Trooper, and then end of Season 2, we've got Luke Skywalker storming the light cruiser hallway. I will populate that scene a little bit more because obviously that's completely bare. Book of Boba Fett. It is what it is at the moment. There's just some core characters there. And then we come down to a little Mandalorian sort of hideaway. But again, all the Mandos, they're not part of the same factions, are they? So they are just hanging around the Armorer's Forge at this point with little Grogu and his chainmail. And then we move on to Ahsoka, the Ahsoka series. And this is as far as I've got with Ahsoka at the moment. Yeah, so we've got a couple of Republic pilots in the back from the 4-pack. Still need the E-Wing to go. Hera, Chopper. I think that Chopper is from the Disney Droid Factory 4-pack as opposed to the Vintage Collection release, which I've got, but I guess I'll open him up when I need another one to display somewhere else. Ahsoka, the white. So I've just literally opened that one up. Again, the head sculpts on these newer figures, if I can get it in focus, they're just so good. Thrawn and his Night Troopers back there, Morgan Elsbeth and her HK assassin droids, and then again this little droid down here just doesn't really fit anywhere, but he's from the Ahsoka series, so he'll just hang out there. And then the bottom shelf where I've got the Mandalorian ATST. Yeah, for now that is it. Looks all right, doesn't it? Like trying to get trying to fit things in when there's still so much coming from Hasbro. And then if we pan across, you know, I'm trying still to do a Revenge of the Sith focus, and yeah. Oh, ignore these three. These are the three pickups, but yeah, the rest of it is trying to get, trying to get some more love for Revenge of the Sith in my display. So I'm still moving things about, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right, I've been David the Dead. If you like what you've seen, if you want to see more of the collection, continue watching these videos. I'll show a bit more with every passing one, but please drop a like if you have liked this content. Subscribe to the channel if you want to get notifications on my next videos, and drop a comment below. You know, how's your setup currently looking? You know, what are you focusing on right now? Say I've got Revenge of the Sith going on, but I need, you know, I needed to give more love to the recent TV series, because, you know, they've largely been fantastic, and yeah, and we're getting so many more playsets and vehicles and beasts from these shows. So yeah, that's where we're at. Hopefully we'll get some Skeleton Crew figures to continue this story a little bit. All right, I'm David the Dead. I'll see you on the next one, and take care. Bye bye.